question, AI versus software engineering, what's the difference, right? How are they different? And for students who can code but haven't delved into AI yet, where should they start?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that when any term becomes really popular really quickly, it tends to become overloaded. And if you've taken an object-oriented class, it quite literally means overloaded. It's multiple different definitions for more or less the same thing. And I think that software engineering looks fundamentally completely different today than it did even 15, 20 years ago. 20 years ago, we didn't have the cloud. And so 20 years from now, it's going to look very different from how it does today. And so when I say software engineering, a lot of people immediately go to coding in their mind. But in reality, we used to write, actually programmers used to punch holes in cards. And then, once we had an actual computer, it was assembly. And then low-level language, higher-level languages. Python looks closer to English than assembly does. And now all of a sudden, well, if your input is natural language to a chat GPT, then you're still programming, but you might not be doing the actual coding as much anymore. And so that's still software engineering, because software engineering is actually the design of these software systems and architectures to solve a particular problem. And you just might not be focusing as much on the code anymore. And so when, I get asked, okay, well, I know how to code, but I'm scared about using AI. It almost feels like cheating. I get that a lot. And granted, if you have a course or assignment, you definitely should not just pass off the AI code as your own. But there are ways to sort of still leverage AI while still learning. I think that if you're using a tool like Cursor or Windsurf, which if you haven't, please do. But if you can turn off the autocomplete, and instead you can ask the chat essentially in the Cursor window and learn while doing it. So it can coach you. You have a 24/7 personal tutor that's now embedded into your IDE. Like if I had this while I was learning computer science, I would have learned 3 times as fast. Now, granted, like with most things, you can abuse it and not learn as much. So my answer is go use these tools, but be very cognizant that you know what it's doing. So you should ask yourself while you're learning, hey, why is it doing this? And then be able to sort of learn through that way. But don't pretend it doesn't exist. That's the worst thing you can do. So get started. Cursor, Windsurf, V0, Replit, Lovable. There's so many out there. Claude Code. Play around with these tools.